friends, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Zita, and on my channel I do DIYs and makeovers on a budget. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest at OakWell Home. So let's get started on today's DIYs and see what I've created. Friends, this is, I believe, a plant holder that I thrifted out on one of my thrifting excursions, but I'm not going to use it as a plant holder. I'm going to use it as a tray. So I am going to take those the handles off there, which was extremely difficult. This thing was very well put together, I can tell you that. But some of the screws that were holding those handles together were seized up. As you see here, I'm at a frame here, but I have my wrench and stuff like that. And I had to eventually saw it off. And while trying to get some of it apart there, I broke a piece off the side there. So I'm gluing that together with some wood glue, and my plan had been to put some handles on the side of this, some like metal handles or something like that, but because this happened while I was trying to get it apart, I cut some of that wood off the handles, and am going to use it as a long handle on the outside of this tray, just to give the sides some more support because of this happening. So I'm using some wood glue. I'm going to put some a bull clip on there and let this dry overnight, and I'm wiping up any excess glue on the sides, and then you'll see me come in and cut some of those handles to size to support the whole length of this tray. So before I cut my handles to fit, I'm going to wipe down the tray and apply some Mod Podge. Now my intention for this tray was to keep the sides white, so this is why you will see me putting the Mod Podge on now, because I had no intention of painting the sides, but then I changed my mind once I decided on the napkin that I was going to decoupage on there, which is kind of like a bluish green, I guess, floral print. And I decided to mix some paint colors together and paint the sides. So this seems kind of backwards the way I'm doing it here, but that is the reason why you see me doing this and then putting the paint on. So maybe decide if you're going to paint your piece first before you decoupage, and then put your Mod Podge on after you paint. So there you see that I cut the handles, and I had to cut these pieces of wood to fit, and like I said, I could not get some of those screws out. They were seized on there, so I had to cut these pieces of wood with a whole bunch of attachments still on that handle because those screws were not coming off. I tried so many things to get it off and could not. So here you'll see me applying the handles to the whole length of the side of the tray, right where I had to glue that other piece on the tray. So these are going to give the tray some more stability, and we'll give it some handles as well. Not the handles that I wanted to put on there, but to give the tray some more stability, I decided on just cutting those long handles that were originally on this piece and using them for handles on the side of the tray. Now I'm just putting them together with some clamps and letting that dry overnight. here. It's the next day, and as you can see, it's pretty sturdy. I did the same thing with the other side and came back the next day. And now I'm going to use my nail gun to put some brad nails in the side just to give it that extra protection, even though I do have the wood glue on there and it's pretty strong, but just to give it that added protection, I am putting some brad nails in. And I do have some glasses on here, so as you can see. So friends, make sure you have your safety glasses on. You do not want to get any of these nails pop up in your eye. You never know what can happen with tools, so you want to practice safety. And one of the nails came out there just below the handle, so I took that out with some pliers. So these are the paints I had, and the napkin here that I keep in my binder, all my napkins. This is the napkin I chose, and as you can see, it's kind of like a bluish green. And once you see, when I open the paint there, you'll see like it's kind of in between that green paint and that blue paint. So I decided I'm going to mix some of these paints together to try to get a better match for that napkin. So I'm going to stir up those paints first. As you can see, some of the it kind of looks like a blue there when I first opened that can, so you want to make sure you stir up your paint and get the color to the proper color. So yeah, so I'm just kind of first I was wanting to put that mint green color on because it's so beautiful. I thought it would pick up some of the green in the napkin, but I thought I'll just mix a couple of colors together and see if I can get it to match the napkin a little more. And as you can see, once I stir this first little batch I mix up here, kind of looks a little bit gray, like a grayish blue, but it's pretty close. I put a little bit more green in and a little bit more blue, and eventually get a color that I'm satisfied with. So I'm going to just paint the sides of the tray now and let that dry, and then decoupage my napkin on. So now that my paint is dry, I believe I did wait till the next day, even though I did use the dryer on it. So the decoupage method that I'm using here, instead of putting my napkin on right after I put the Mod Podge on, or your decoupage medium, if it's not Mod Podge that you're using, is letting it dry and then putting my napkin down here, and I have some parchment paper on top of the napkin, and I'm going over it with my iron, and that is reactivating the glue, and it's going to make the napkin stick. And what I love about this method is that you get less wrinkles, so this is why I decided to go with this method. And now the video is really sped up here, so I am leaving the iron sometimes, like just leaving it there and for a little bit and then letting it heat the glue up. So I do this until I get everything glued down, and now on top I'm putting this Polyvine wood varnish, and this is a dead flat. This is an awesome product. It's a lot thinner than a Mod Podge, so I really like this product as well. And for some projects I have mixed the Mod Podge and this together because I find this is very thin, and then the Mod Podge I sometimes find is a little too thick. So sometimes I will mix these two together. But I find like after your first layer of Mod Podge dries, or whatever medium you're using, then I like putting this on top because, like I said, it is thin, and I use a really soft brush because I find it doesn't rip your napkin that like maybe a thick Mod Podge would do, or a thick decoupage medium would do. Now here, guys, you'll see me kind of taking off the excess napkin. Do not do this when your glue is wet because it's going to rip some of your napkin off your piece. So be patient, let everything dry before you do this step, okay? I did end up leaving most of it there after, I believe, and then cutting it off with an X-Acto knife afterwards. So this is the next day once my decoupage medium has dried, my Polyvine, and I'm cutting with the scissors in between those slats, and now I'm using a nail file. So this is a great little tip, friends, to use a nail file for those little small areas that you can't reach with, regular sandpaper or sanding block. Just get out your nail file. Now that first one there was kind of flimsy, so I went through my drawer and got another different type of nail file and used that one. So I'm cutting all the slats with the scissors there, and then I'm using my nail file to get all that off. Now this was quite the process and did take some time, so you'll need some patience to do this. And once that's all done, I'm going to put another layer of Polyvine on top. Now here you'll see me paint the bottom as well, and I'm taking off these little pieces of wood that are still attached to this tray, and I broke off a piece here, so once again I had to do some gluing and repairing. Those little pieces of wood were on there quite well. Yeah, this piece was well made, and I think that was there to help those handles from slipping, when it was the plant holder. Now you don't have to do this. It's no one's going to see the bottom, but sometimes I feel like the piece is not finished if I don't paint it all. So friends, let me know what you think of this one. Isn't that blue floral napkin beautiful? Let me know in the comments what you think of this one. It's a little rustic, but I still think it's beautiful. starting out with this cupboard door that I picked up from the Habitat for Humanity. And I'm not sure what kind of wood this is, but it's really, really hard. So it was already navy when I picked it up. So first I'm going to apply this Fusion Ultra Grip. This is going to help my paint stick to that really slick surface. So I'm going to paint that all over and then let that dry, and then I'm going to apply my paint. For this one, I wanted to create a green chalk paint, and I didn't have any on hand. I only mixed up a white and a black for myself. So I'm going to show you here how I created a chalk paint for this. You're going to want to get yourself some plaster of Paris. That's what I'm using here. I picked that up at my local hardware store. So I'm putting a 1/3 cup of plaster of Paris and a 1/3 cup of water. Now, if you want your chalk paint a little thicker, you can add a little less water. But I find when you add less water, your chalk paint will dry up faster. And then you're going to want to put a cup of paint. So I had a bunch of green acrylic paints on hand. So guys, if you can't afford the chalk paint, because I know they are very expensive, or you just want something on the spot, this is how you can create some chalk paint for yourself. So I'm using a bunch of different color greens here, some light, medium, and dark, and until I get the color of green that I want, and until I fill up to a cup of paint. So I'm just going back and forth, applying all the different colors. And at the end, I do add in a little bit of charcoal gray and a little bit of black to get the color of green that I want. And it turned out beautiful. So if you want to make some chalk paint for yourself, I also have a video on how to make it. I made some white chalk paint before as well. So I'll put that in my description box for you. Once you have your full cup of paint, whether it's one color or multiple colors, you're going to want to mix that in with your plaster of Paris and water mixture, and voila, you have some chalk paint for yourself. So once my Fusion Ultra Grip has dried on my cupboard door, I'm going to apply my homemade chalk paint. And I gave this 3 coats, and I used my heat gun to help it along with the drying process in between. So what do you think of this green color, my friends? I love it. So next I'm using this Dollar Tree gift tissue paper. So this is another inexpensive way to decoupage. So I picked up a whole bunch of gift tissue paper from the Dollar Tree. So you're going to see that in some future projects. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button to see what I make in the future with all the different tissue papers that I got. Isn't this a beautiful paper? So I'm just applying this inside, and I'm going to use a crafter's knife to cut it along the edge, and you're going to want to use a sharp one so you don't give your tissue paper a jagged edge. Now this tissue paper is thin, so you're going to want to apply it very carefully so it doesn't rip when you're applying your Mod Podge or whatever decoupage medium you're using. So usually underneath your decoupage paper, you're going to want to paint white. That way the the print is going to show more vibrant, but I didn't want it to be very vibrant. I wanted it to kind of be a green muted underneath. But what I would do in the future is use a thinner decoupage medium. This Mod Podge was too thick. I should have watered it down or used some other thinner medium that I had on hand, because as you see there, because I didn't paint it white underneath, you can see some of the glue that has dried underneath. So that's my tip for you guys and for myself for next time is if I'm not painting white underneath, is to use a thinner decoupage medium. So once I have that done, I'm applying a decoupage on top, and I'm gonna fix that those white lines later on, you'll see. So you'll see here my screw broke off in this cupboard door because, like I said, this wood was so hard that it broke my screw off. So I drilled a little hole in there on the back before to hang my hanger, and I used a shorter screw so I didn't have to go so far down in the cupboard door and break my screw off again. So once I had the hanger on there, I turned it over, and I'm giving my piece some distressing because I wanted some of that blue that was already on the cupboard door to show through, and it looks beautiful with this green color. So I'm because it's chalk paint, I was able to wet distress it instead of sanding it. So I just got a wet rag and distressed it along the edges. Now I'm using some burlap here, and I'm going to cut that down to the size that I want to go in the middle. So I'm going to make a pocket on this door, and I still have that beautiful tissue paper in the background. And this little stencil here that says Farm Fresh, I picked that up at the Dollar Tree as well, my friends. So check out your local Dollar Tree to see if they have some stencils like this. I picked up a whole bunch. Now I should have put some tape on those numbers. As you'll see later on, I went over a little bit of those numbers by mistake. A little bit of paint got in there, and I had to adjust this stencil to make it fit on this piece of burlap here, but it turned out so nice. And I'm just using some acrylic paint here and a makeup brush actually to apply it, and I helped that along again with my heat gun and let that set aside for a little bit. And here's where I'm going to fix up those white stripes showing through. So first I'm applying my clear wax, and I'm just applying it on the top portion there that's going to show once I have my little pocket on there. So I'm applying some clear wax first and then some black wax, and what this does, the clear wax acts as like an eraser. If you apply too much black wax, then it's easier to get it off if you have a clear wax underneath. So applying that black wax, I'm just kind of giving it a little bit more so those white glue stripes don't show through. And as you see, I didn't apply it all the way down because I'm going to apply this pocket now with some hot glue, and I didn't want that wax to interfere with the hot glue that I was going to apply. So I just took my iron here and pressed it on the top with put my parchment paper on top there and ironed that to heat set that acrylic paint on there. So now I'm just applying my hot glue along the edges and using a little tool here, I believe it's for nails, to press it in place. And because that hot glue can get very hot, and I have burnt myself with it, believe me. So now I do have a little finger thing here as well that you're going to see me use now to press in this jute rope that I'm going to use along the edges to give it that more finished look. So I'm going to go all along the edges, and you'll see I have my little pink finger on there to prevent myself from getting burnt. And I'm going to apply all of that along the edge there, and then I'm going to put some flowers in there, and I'm going to put a bunch of different flowers in here. And you let me know in the comments which flowers that you like the best. And let me know as well if you like that gift tissue paper background that I put behind the pocket. Let me know if you would have left this just plain and just put the pocket on, or do you like that gift tissue paper that I put on there? So I think I also give it a little bit more distressing after this as well, to bring some more of that blue out along the inside corners. And then, like I said, I'm going to try out a bunch of different florals inside that pocket. Let me know in the comments what you think of this piece and which of the florals you like the best. And I am going to finish off this piece with some clear wax and then some black wax. And this piece is finished.